You have now joined the Education Evolution, and you're listening to Hall Pass to the Real World. This is a podcast for the thinkers, the doers, and for those that know the most important lessons are not always taught at school. I am your host, Lindsay, affectionately known as Miss Black. And today we are connecting the dots between what's happening in the real world and what's happening in our schools, our communities, and ultimately our lives at large. And the connection here is I'd say it's pretty clear once we get into the real incident that we're discussing today. Before we jump into it, I just want to note for this particular episode, episodes before and episodes thereafter, that I'm sharing my thoughts and my opinions. Mine, Lindsay's, and they do not reflect anything regarding my employer. I just wanted to state that because there are topics like this and current events like this that I get really passionate about because they're things that are centering things that are important to me. And this particular current event we're going to get into is about a Black student in the DMV area. And I am Black, and most of my teaching career was done in DMV area. So it really feels like it hits home to me. Now, How Pass to the Real World is our current event segment. We are giving you a hall pass from what may be going on in schools so that you can really understand the connection and bridge that gap between the schools and what's happening in real life because it's all working in tandem here. So today's current event is a very troubling one. It's a story about a Black high school student in Baltimore County that had guns drawn on him and was handcuffed in front of his fellow student athlete teammates as he was waiting to be picked up from football practice. Why did this happen? That's what you're asking. Because the AI enhanced security system mistook his chip bag as a gun. And I'm just pausing to let that sink because this is really insane work. This is really crazy. Now, allow me to break down the story a bit more because while this is the gist, it's not the full extent of the story. You know how the headlines be doing, y'all. So this incident occurred on October 20th at Kenwood High School in Baltimore County, Maryland. And please note that I am checking my notes, and I want to make sure that I'm giving you all of the details that I was able to flesh out from the articles that I read. This information is pulled from several different articles, specifically one from CNN and Blavity. Please feel free to fact check or to add any details you've learned as the story is unfolding. We do read the comments, so go ahead and drop them in the comments. Now, Omnilert. This is the first that I've heard of this. Omnilert is an AI software that is used to detect weapons at school. There are around 50 schools in the US that use it. It integrates with the camera and security footage that schools already have. So it is essentially constantly reviewing camera footage and uses its own like machine learning to identify things that look like guns. As long as those cameras are running, the Omnilert, the AI system is running as well. Um, and let's be clear, if it doesn't show up in the camera, it doesn't get detected. I'm explaining this because if you do any research on Omnilert, you will learn that in January, a school in Nashville, I think it was like Antioch High School, actually did have a school shooting where a gun was able to be brought into the school, but the gun was not in the direct line of sight of the camera. Just adding that 2 cents that I thought that that was interesting, and we've been talking about AI, it's been coming up a lot on our end, so we wanna talk about, potential benefits, but also the detriments and the things that are just gonna get missed with these systems that are not actual people. So the night of October 20th, the cameras were running. Omnilert detected what it thought was a gun. Now, this is where I'm a little confused because for any AI system that is put in place, there should be a human in the loop approach. Okay, so AI is supposed to enhance, not necessarily replace what humans are doing, and there's supposed to be a workflow that's in place that includes several layers of human interaction and communication between the alert from the system and cops pulling out guns on the student. So this is where it gets a little fuzzy for me, and I'm trying to understand the workflow. So Kenwood principal Kate Smith said that the school district security department reviewed and canceled the gun detection. So the alert goes to the security department. Principal is also informed. And so the security department confirmed that there was no weapon. For some reason, Principal Kate didn't get that alert. She didn't see it. I'm not certain, but she contacted the resource officer of the school. And for those who don't know what a resource officer is at a school, it is a police officer that is like police trained, but they also go through a special training to be placed at a school. They may not necessarily be at the school every day, but they are building relationships on campus with administrators, sometimes students, and they have a specialized training in order to do so. So they would be the first point of contact for a principal, especially in this case, if there is an issue that needs some police support or escalation. So the principal contacted the resource officer. Resource officer contacted the local police, so Baltimore Police Department. Again, the principal didn't immediately realize that the alert had been canceled, which is confusing because she also stated that in a letter that was sent out to the community. What ended up happening is the cameras are still running around 7 p.m. after football practice. The boys are grouped up. They are waiting for their parents, whoever's coming to pick them up. And this young man actually has a blue Dorito bag that's wrapped up in his hand. And so he's explaining that he's kind of holding it like this, like the Dorito bag is right here and he has his hand wrapped around it. And that is what the camera system picked up as a gun. It sounds like the security department saw the picture or saw the image and determined that there was nothing to be worried about, but that information didn't get relayed to the principal. I mean, I could speculate why. I don't really know. I don't know if things are moving too fast. If like it wasn't clear on the app that she was using. It's 7 p.m. Maybe she has family at home. I don't know what's going on. I have a lot of questions. I guess we can get to those a little later. So police get an alert. And the young man stated that there were about like 8 different police cars. There were at least four or five or six police officers that I could see from the camera footage from the what's it called, y'all? The camera that be on a police chest. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So they come, they immediately draw guns at this group of young men. They tell this particular young man who has this Dorito back gun to put his hands up and to get on his knees. They walk up to him, they handcuff him, and then eventually they are engaging in some discourse to try to figure out if he has anything on him that's a gun. They're like, "Hey, it's blue in the camera. What do you have that's blue on?" He's like, "I don't have anything that's blue." Police officer is like, "Well, let me see your phone." He's like, "My phone's not blue, it's black." So they're confused now. So now they're looking closer. They're looking closer at the camera and they're like, "Well, that's blue. It might be a Dorito bag or chip bag." So they look in the trash. They find that it was actually a trash bag. It's funny because the police officers are actually a little irritated. They're just like these damn AI alerts because it's essentially wasting time, but it's also frightening people. It's a traumatic experience for these young men to be having guns pulled out from on them. Like these are scholars, these are student athletes. The councilmen are not happy. Okay. They want immediate review on the systems and the workflows, and they want to be informed because they believe that this escalation is just grotesque and unnecessary. I am going to read the apologies that were issued. Maybe I should just say statements. Maybe I should just say statements that were issued. And I'll get to my thoughts and feelings about them momentarily. But I'm going to read this verbatim. This is from the principal, a statement that was written by the principal in a letter that was sent out to the community. We understand how upsetting this was for the individual that was searched, as well as the other students who witnessed the incident, the principal wrote in a letter. Please know that ensuring the safety of our students and school community is one of our highest priorities. We work closely with Baltimore County Police to ensure that we can promptly respond to any potential safety concerns, and it is essential that we all work together to maintain a safe and welcoming environment for all Kenwood High School students and staff. That was from the principal. Omnilert also issued out an apology. They said, "We regret that this incident occurred and wish to convey our concern to the student and the wider community affected by the events that followed." They also just stood 10 toes down on the fact that they create a software that integrates with security systems, but is supposed to be verified by humans. Those are the facts. That's what happened. But naturally, I have like, I have so many questions and thoughts. My little critical thinking brain comes up. How did the principal not receive the information that the security department canceled the alert? Hello? Like I talked about that human in the loop approach and the workflow. So it does now seem like there was a human error within the workflow of the system. And I think that AI gets a very bad name, but very bad rep, but it can be useful in situations. I know that we all know that there is a heightened sense of awareness and protection that needs to be put out there to protect our students, especially because I don't know why America likes to take guns up into schools. So it makes sense to me that there are 50 plus schools across the nation that have this AI software. And the AI software just integrated with the systems that they already have. And if there's a person there to identify if it's a gun or not, the person really should be double downing and doing their due diligence, especially the principal in this situation. They've had the system since 2023, and now I'm wondering how many times it has alerted the security and it's been alerted falsely. I wonder how many times human error has caused for an unnecessary escalation. I'm also wondering how they are training the AI model. Like, I can see how, I guess I don't know. I guess I could see how maybe it looked like he was holding something that I don't think it looked like a gun. I think that the AI model saw the hand and it's been trained on like how guns are held in people's hands and then thought that it was a gun. I just would really like to know more about that personally. Um, and then if you watch the video, the young man is getting handcuffed and he's just asking, like, oh, is it because we were on campus too long? And the police officer is like, oh, I'm going to tell you in a moment after you handcuff him. And I'm just annoyed because I don't know protocols, y'all. But can y'all like use your human interaction, like use your awareness and like tell that if he's completely cooperating, does he really need, can you explain it to him before you handcuff him? You know, do you have to handcuff the young man? Because they're being transparent, they're being communicative. Like, I personally just didn't like that. It made me very annoyed because this baby thinks that he's in trouble because he was on campus too late, and it's just literally not that. So like, I know you're confused, but I'm just like, damn, he's really confused. Just a traumatic experience. I really want accountability in the form of heartfelt apologies to come make a comeback. In 2025, we have 2 months left to do it because the PC and the PR type of apologies, or and not even apologies, they're acknowledgments. I feel like it's dehumanizing, especially in the fields of education where people are literally in it to dedicate their lives to little humans. I just wish that the statement was a little more heartfelt, like really acknowledge the like a little more trauma informed about how this hiccup in the system has negatively impacted the man who was handcuffed and then all his friends. And then all of the football players who are going to hear the story about how their scholar athlete teammates were arrested and had guns pulled out on them because they were standing around waiting for their moms to pick them up. Like, I really want things to be more acknowledged, and just more pushed than that. And, I mean, we also have to think about optics. This principal is a white woman, and this was a black man in Baltimore County that was arrested. And so at first glance, optics look terrible right here. They look terrible. But if you do dig a little deeper, you do learn that this particular principal actually went to this high school. So she's like giving, kind of like being in her community, a community, trying to give back to a community that gave to her. And I think that's also why I expected a little bit more of a heartfelt apology because you went to this school. You were excited when you had the opportunity to be a principal here. So let's, close the loop a little bit. AI is just not going to be smarter than us in certain situations. And I'm going to stand 10 toes down on that because AI does not understand context. Like, AI does not know that those are student athletes, I mean, scholars, waiting for the rides home after football practice. The AI doesn't know the temperaments of those little boys. They don't know if they're even likely to bring a gun to school. They can't evaluate the way that a person or teacher, because teachers are in these situations too, where they're required to de escalate in this way. They can't evaluate that. So I don't know. I'm also just wondering what the coaches think. Like, what conversations do the coaches have to have? What conversations are the parents having? If you look back in the article, you can watch a video where you will see some parents and his grandfather, their responses. It was too heavy, the situation was escalated just way too much. So I'm glad that the Baltimore City councilmen are pushing back and really holding the school district accountable because it's really the only way. We have to have a human in the loop approach. When used correctly, AI is meant to enhance. It's not meant to take away. We cannot get lazy just because AI is helping us in a system that we kind of already had established. Because they already had the system established. They just added AI to enhance it. But we can't get lazy. It should be freeing up space in our minds to think more critically, not to be more relaxed because we're relying on a robot. I would love to hear your thoughts. Please drop in the comments your thoughts on it. Do you think that the system should be pulled? Do you think that people just need to work a little harder as the humans that are within that workflow? Because what's happening in schools mirrors what is happening at large in life. And no matter what career field you happen to be in, whether you have kids or you don't have kids, it's vital to stay aware of what is happening within your schools and within your local communities. Whew. If you haven't done so already, and you are appreciative of the information that is being shared with on our YouTube platform, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Share this episode with someone. Seriously, I would just look, share that little link with somebody you think that could learn something or has maybe had a similar experience or is on the fence about AI and wants to research a little bit more about what it looks like within the school. Follow us on Instagram at Education Evolution Pod. We really appreciate you taking the time to listen. We are a community here and we are just building y'all brick by brick. So, with that, thank you for listening. Please stay safe. Stay warm because it's getting a little cold out there. And I hope that you have a week that is worthy of you. Bye.